DeFord Bailey was born December 14, 1899, and was a grandson of slaves. Bailey was born near the Bellwood community in Smith County, Tennessee. Sadly, his mother died when he was about a year old, and he was taken in by his Aunt Barbara Lou. He learned to play the harmonica at the age of 3, when he contracted polio. Bailey was confined to bed for a year and could only move his head and arms. His style of playing the harmonica evolved as he imitated the sounds of the natural world around him and of the trains traveling through the countryside. Though Bailey did recover from his bout with polio, there were some long-term consequences. His back remained slightly misshapen, and he only grew to be 4 feet 10 inches tall. He was so short and slender as a teenager, he was mistaken to be an underage child by railroad ticket agents. His foster father, Clark Odom, was hired as a manager for a farm near Nashville, and in 1908 the family made the move from Smith County. The Odoms and their foster son lived in Nashville and on Franklin, Tennessee farms that Clark Odom managed for several years. In 1918, the family moved to Nashville when Clark Odom got a job, and Bailey started to perform locally there as an amateur. Bailey's first radio appearance was apparently in September of 1925 on Fred Exum's WDAD, a Nashville station that only lasted from 1925 until sometime in 1927. His first documented appearances, however, were in 1926, according to the Nashville Tennessean, including WDAD on January the 14th and WSM on June 19th. On December 10th, 1927, he debuted his trademark song, Pan American Blues, named for the Louisville and Nashville Railroad's Pan American, on a program then known as WSM Barn Dance. At that time, Barn Dance was aired after NBC's classical music show, The Music Appreciation Hour. While introducing Bailey, WSM station manager and announcer George D. Hay exclaimed on air, "For the past hour we have been listening to music largely from Grand Opera, but from now on we will present the Grand Ole Opry." Pan American Blues was the first recording of a harmonica blues solo. Several records by Bailey were issued in 1927 and 1928, all of them harmonica solos. In 1927, he recorded for Brunswick Records in New York City. In 1928, he made the first recordings in Nashville. Think about that. The first country music star to be recorded in Nashville was DeFord Bailey. 8 sides for RCA Victor, 3 of which were issued on the Victor, Bluebird, and RCA labels. Emblematic of the ambiguity of Bailey's position as a recording artist is the fact that his arguably greatest recording, John Henry, was released by RCA separately in both its Race series and its Hillbilly series. In addition to his well-known harmonica, Bailey also played the guitar, bones, and banjo. Bailey was a pioneer member of the WSM Grand Ole Opry and one of its most popular performers, appearing on the program from 1927 to 1941. During this period, he toured with major country stars, including Uncle Dave Macon, Bill Monroe, and Roy Acuff. Roy Acuff later said that he was responsible for his career. Like other black stars of his day, traveling in the southern United States and western United States, he faced difficulties in finding food and accommodations. because of discriminatory Jim Crow laws. Bailey was fired by WSM in 1941 because of a licensing conflict between BMI and ASCAP, which prevented him from playing his best-known tunes on the radio. When he was let go from the Opry, that effectively ended his performance and recording career. Bailey spent the rest of his life running his own shoe shine stand and renting out rooms in his home to make a living. Though he continued to play the harmonica, he almost never performed publicly. One of his rare performances occurred in 1974 when he agreed to appear on the Opry. This was a special event to mark the Opry leaving the Ryman Auditorium for the Grand Ole Opry House. This performance became the impetus for the Opry's annual Old Timers show. Afterwards, Bailey continued to occasionally perform at the Opry. He played there on his 75th birthday in December 1974 at the Old Timers show, and also in April of 1982. A few months later that year, in June, he was taken to Nashville's Baptist Hospital in failing health. Bailey died on June 2, 1982, at his daughter's home in Nashville, and is buried in Greenwood Cemetery there. Bailey himself said that he came from a tradition of black hillbilly music. His family members had played a variety of instruments, including a grandfather who had been a well-known local fiddler in Smith County, Tennessee. He said later, when referring to playing the harmonica, when he was growing up, "Oh, I wore it out trying to imitate everything I hear. Hens, foxes, hounds, turkeys, and all those trains and things on the road. Everything around me." Along with performing well-known genre classics such as Cow Blues, Bailey also wrote his own signature Opry songs, like the train imitating Pan American Blues and the Dixie Flyer Blues. When WSM's power increased to 50,000 watts, Bailey's influence increased as well, with harmonica enthusiasts listening to his performance and studying his recordings. In 2005, National Public Television produced the documentary DeFord Bailey, A Legend Lost. I highly recommend this documentary. I just watched it. You can find it here on YouTube. The documentary was broadcast nationally through PBS. Bailey was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame on November 15, 2005. The DeFord Bailey Tribute Garden at the George Washington Carver Food Park in Nashville was dedicated on June 27, 2007. The Encyclopedia of Country Music call him the most significant black country star before World War II. Bailey is still being referred to as a harmonica wizard, more than 3 decades after his death. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Sure would help us out a lot with YouTube.